Guys? We're back with my friend Aldo from Crusades of Motivation. What's up, Aldo?
How you doing, Beanie man? Thank you so much, man. It's Tuesday, man. It's Tuesday. Beginning
Yeah.
of the week, man. How's your week going so far?
So far, so good. Had a couple of good workouts this week, so I'm feeling okay. Yeah, the weather's getting a little warmer now, so we could definitely take that. Get outside to the park more often. But we do what we got to do, right? If not, we hit the gym, but we just make sure we get something in. So, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. About the whole what we always talk about, right? We always talk about the exercise, the healthy living, and you know, I've been noticing for a long, long time, and it's really starting to. I'm trying to figure it out. What is it about us, about people in general, that we always have to complicate things, right? We have this tendency to, you know, whenever, and not only fitness, but really in really a lot of aspects of life. When people go to start something new, they have what they call analysis paralysis, where you're researching and trying to find the perfect way to do something, and I want to make sure I get this right, and this has to be just right before I start. um, and I find that with fitness for sure, when I try and coach people, or just when I try to talk to people. um, Everybody, they'll sit back and they'll wait months, weeks and months, and which turns into years. And do you think I should start doing this? Or would it be better for me if I did this type of exercise? Would it be better for me if I ate that way? Well, I was thinking of doing this diet, but then I thought that this diet would be better. What do you think? You know, and can you build muscle with calisthenics? You know what I mean? And I'm gonna work out, but I'm gonna wait till I get my gym membership. Right? It's always got to be the perfect time, and they're always looking for the better way. And without fail, not only are they looking for the better way, and a lot of times with most people, when I say the better way, they're looking for the easy way. Right? They're always looking for that hack or that gimmick, that fast track. you know how can I get in shape and do as little work as possible? Right? How can I lose weight and still eat as much as possible? You know what I mean? What kind of pill, what kind of pill can I take, or that can, still let me do and live the way, eat and drink the way I always have, but get me some better results, you know? And at the end of the day, what I tell the people, and my the biggest part of my message, one of the biggest uh, part of my message, is that I'm not saying that my way is the 100% right way, but what I try to tell people is that you have the basic fundamentals, right? And that's where we should always start, with just the basic. And when it comes to fitness, what do you have? Push ups, pull ups, squats, right? Just basic stuff. It doesn't have to be some crazy where because every time you're on the internet, there's some influencer that has some kind of program that this is the way to do this exercise, and this workout is going to get you ripped, and this one is going to get you cut, and then some other guy with his diet plan, and this is the way to get uh, you know lose the weight. And it's just so hard to convince people that if you start just with the basics, right? And again, push pull squat when it comes to fitness. And it can be body weight. It could be done anywhere. It could be done in your living room, on your back porch, wherever. If you're on vacation, excuse me, right? And then when it comes to the food, well, what diet should I follow? You don't need a specific diet per se. How about you just start with real food, right? Food that doesn't have 27 ingredients on the box, right? Um, and isn't processed 100 different times, right? And just start cutting out junk food, stuff that is bad. We all know what the bad stuff is, really, for the most part, right? So yeah, like when you try and even just dumb it down for people and say start down here, and then as you go along, you'll learn, right? Instead of just sitting back saying, gee, I wonder what the best way to do it is. And then because everybody, what do they say? Everybody's got their opinion, right? And what do they say about opinions, right? Just
They're
like
like
assholes.
assholes.
Everybody's got one, right? So, and I'm not saying that everybody's opinion is invalid, but everybody has their like their dogma that my way is the best way, and I do it, so it must be the best way, and it works for me, so that means it's going to work for everybody. And that's not the case in anything in life. So my theory is that start with the basics. Always just start with the basics and just do it. And even we're on YouTube right now, and I remember even before I started making YouTube videos, I did so much research. I must have watched hundreds and hundreds of videos about how to make videos, right? And then finally one day I just said I got to get started, and it wasn't perfect, and I was awkward. Not that I'm not awkward now, but um, you know, you get a little more comfortable doing it. Like even sitting here talking, you know, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been as comfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable right now sitting here talking on the camera as opposed to back then, right? And it's the same thing with when we talk about the fitness. You'll learn, you'll see what your body can do. You don't know your limitations, your real physical limitations until you start doing something. And then the same thing with the food. When it comes to diet, different food affects different people in different ways. So I can tell you what I eat, and I could say this works for me. Why don't you give it a shot or some version of it? And then you may say, well, that I don't like, and when I eat that, it kind of affects me. Then don't eat it, right? So then we find something else. And but if you're doing nothing, you're never gonna go through the learning process. It's not until you really start doing something, right? So and that's why I said tonight, like it's start with real food and start with real exercise. And real exercise is basic exercises, just movement. And movement is medicine when it comes to fitness, right? So now I know, like we've spoken before about like your situation in your younger days. You had some physical, some issues, um, some physical issues, and then you started getting into fitness. But you started with weightlifting. Am I wrong on that, or is that how you started before you got into calisthenics? What got you? How did you get started with it?
I started with just the gym bro shit. The leg day, squat, chest day, arm day. Just that's what they call it, right? The gym bro,
The bro
right? Just
split.
the
Yeah, the
bro
bro.
split. There you go, there you go.
Yeah,
But before I go on this, man, I want to tell people that there's no right time but today.
right.
Today's the right time to start. And yeah, man. So I started with just regular. I was ignorant at the time. I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I'm like, honestly, I just got the membership, Beanie, and start going to the gym. And I started looking at people there, what people were doing, and me going in, I was kind of shy. You don't fucking know shit, and you feel anxious and a little bit afraid of the gym and the people that's at the gym. So I remember there was a bench in the corner over there that it looked like nobody went into that fucking corner. It was a little dark there. So it's like an isolated fucking corner over there. So then that's where I fucking kind of was my refuge. My refuge. I go
Right.
over there and started doing bench, and that's really what I did for a long time, man. I didn't start calisthenics. Then I did weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, right? And then it was before COVID. That's when I started kind of getting into calisthenics, man. But to me, at least, man, that's the best discipline to follow. And it's good to combine it. It's good to do weights and trying to combine it so it doesn't get boring. But to me, that's the best thing, man, because, we get to go out there. Like I go to the park sometimes, you can do it at the gym. But back to what you were saying, really, man, this shit is simple. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm big on saying that all you need is a piece of floor, man, to get fit. It's crazy with this burpee shit, man. Like we see a lot of burpee heads out there, just looking good, man. They
Right.
wrecked. They cardio good.
Hmm.
That's a full body workout. If really you, if somebody was to ask me, man, what's one move that I can do to get ripped, get
Burpee.
fit, fucking burpee. You just do the fucking burpee, man. That all you need is a little fucking piece of floor, maybe a mat if you wanna be fancy, right? Fucking, you gotta make sure you got a towel because you sweat like a motherfucker. So
Yeah,
you need that.
no
You
doubt.
need a towel, and man, that move will fix your. It will give you endurance. It will give you a nice body. I think even give you a six pack, to be honest,
Yeah.
because you engage every part of the body, man. So
Hmm.
it's simple as that. And yeah,
Yeah.
I am guilty myself, Beanie. I am guilty of fucking. I'm a researcher. Every
Right.
time I'm into something, man, I fucking go deep. And now I feel so blessed nowadays because if we have YouTube, this is a full on fucking library here.
Oh.
I mean, we got the info fucking this massive, and you want to get deeper, you go on Google, and then there's blogs that people put out there. I mean, there's articles, there's
Hmm.
books. I'm guilty of that, man. I'm guilty of researching, but I am also guilty of diving in.
But well, I was going to say, you research things, but you're also doing while you're researching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't sit there with that attitude like, well, I don't want to do it until I know this, and this,
Mm-mm.
right? And it's and the bad part, one bad part about that is when you, especially today, like you said, you have things like YouTube, you have there's so much information, right? And no matter what you research, no matter what you Google or whatever you look up on the internet, you're always going to find, like, I agree with you that the burpee, if you do no other exercise, right, and you start doing burpees, I mean, I think you'll be golden. You know what I mean?
That's it.
But I guarantee that somewhere along the line, I can go on the internet and there's something on the internet that's going to tell you burpees aren't good. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so you really got to like kind of sift through the shit and find out who's kind of telling the truth or who has a little bit of valid knowledge out there, because there's so much bullshit. There's so much bullshit. And like I said earlier, when people have it in their mind, like, I'm doing this, so it's right. And my way is the best way. Oh, look at this guy. Look at what he's doing. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing this. Well, how the fuck do you know what's good for me? You know what I mean? Like I said, if you're going to advise me to start just with the basics, and how much more basic do you get than a burpee? Right? You don't get any more basic than a burpee. But and something that you just said a couple of minutes ago too was that you know you started and then you went like into the weightlifting and then you went into the calisthenics, and you said it's good to mix it up, right? And I firmly agree with that. But earlier, in my earlier years, I was like so dogmatic when it came to weightlifting. If you said to me, "Oh, why don't you start doing some body weight stuff?" I'm like, "No, you need weights to get strong. You need weights to get big." You know, I That's the way I always thought. That was my mindset. And then once I got into the calisthenics, I was like, "Oh fuck, I've been missing out all this time on this." Now you just said you got into calisthenics right before COVID.
Right before COVID. Yeah, I was just diving in because I was doing CrossFit. I was doing CrossFit workouts and stuff. And in that shit, you do pull-ups and you do this and that. And I was diving into doing that more. I remember I was learning the muscle up then. So I was kind of diving, right? But I didn't know about high reps, man. I
Right.
didn't know about high reps. These like sets of, 100 reps. And I thought that was a lot, man, at the time. But after the gym closed, which it didn't close, man. It was just too creepy to go there, man. That was fucking weird. I wasn't
Yeah.
down with the mask shit, I wasn't down with all of that. So I'm like, I'm not doing that shit, man. I'm not fucking calling to schedule an appointment so I can go work out. So I took matter into hands, and that's what we're talking right here, right now. You gotta
Right.
take the matter into your fucking hands because nobody's gonna do it for you. So for
Right.
me, then was that right? It was the fact that I didn't want to be at the gym going to that shit. So then I started doing it in my driveway. And then I didn't know what to do, Vinny. So what do? Well, fucking start doing push-ups. And then I started doing burpees. And then I started like, oh well, I'm gonna give me a pull-up bar. Because that's really what's for the purpose of being having simplicity, right? Because I don't have much room, and I'm like, shit,
Right.
a pull-up bar is gonna help me, more than just doing push-ups. So I was just kind of thinking in my mind, like, what can I do to complete my workouts? And so like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a pull-up bar, and that's how I started diving in. And then I start fucking the internet again, man. Then you start seeing game bros over there doing a bunch
Yeah.
of reps, and I'm like, shit, well, I'm gonna start doing more reps. And okay, so now you're talking about people want to make it complicated, and they don't know who to believe, right? Well, you gotta check out the bros that's doing the fucking bunch of burpees and see how they look.
Right.
That's
Right.
You see how they look, man. I mean, you see that's what they fucking do, burpees every day. That's the for me, that's a great example, man. I follow my life in that manner, man. I want to see people and their results. If I see somebody with results, then uh I'm gonna emulate them. And I don't give
Right.
a fuck if they think I'm copying them. Yeah, well, I'm copying them because I see your results, so I want to get some of that. It's called
Well, let me stop
modeling.
you right there. Let me stop you right there. Oh, because the person that you like you say copy, we really are emulating, and they're an inspiration. Like when you see them and you say, I want to do that, I'm going to try that. I promise you, they copying it from somebody else. They didn't make it up. I guarantee it. Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody is doing something that they saw somebody else do or that they learned somewhere else. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I would never feel guilty about, oh, I'm copying what he's doing. It's not about copying. Like, because I'll go back to it again. It's the basics, the fundamentals of the fundamentals, and they've been there from the beginning of time, and they'll always
Hmm.
be here because they're the fundamentals. They're the building blocks, right? Now, again, everybody, you could take those and put your own flair on them. You know what I'm saying? Um, like you have that guy Moses Cuevas, like he's a big burpee guy, right? You got
Hmm.
G-Bay. Um, Everybody puts their own little spin on it, but at the end of the day, they're doing a fucking burpee.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Hmm.
when you say I see somebody and I want to emulate them, and they think people would think that no, and I mean, no, I don't believe it. It's copying. It's just taking it, using it as an inspiration, and then going doing your thing with it. You know. So yeah, I don't agree with that. Like because nobody who invented the burpee. That you can go back and they said that there was a guy, I believe, back in the 1930s, and
Yeah, his fucking last name was Burpy. That's where the fucking
yeah,
name came from.
it's I'm stumping myself now because I actually put up a post on my channel about it. Yeah, but the guy's name was Burpee, and I forget the whole story with it, but I believe it went back to like the 1930s or 40s or something. But that's where they traced it back to. But who knows? They may have been doing it back in ancient Greece. Because those guys were doing. Because if you look up the history of calisthenics, they were doing body weight stuff back then, back in ancient Greece. You know,
That's true.
back in the
Yeah.
Roman Empire and all that stuff. So you don't know the origins of all this stuff, but the bottom line is you got to move, and the best way to start is with those basics, um, and just you got to start doing it if that's what you really want. If you're really serious about change, but you could kind of tell. A lot of people, they'll talk about it. I got to lose weight. I got to get in shape. All right, and I always tell the story about one guy I was working with one time, and he asked me, you know, you think you could help me out? I want to get in shape. I want to lose some weight. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And it was like fucking June or July we had this conversation, and he had told me how much I really got to lose this belly, and I got to do. I said, all right, let's. I'm ready. Let's do it. Oh no, yeah, I got to wait till September because it's the summertime, and I like to drink my beer, and I'm like, the fuck out of here. And this conversation was, what is this, 2024, 18, 7, 8 years ago? I haven't seen the guy in that many years. I've seen pictures of him. He's bigger than ever. So he never did it,
Fuck, man.
obviously. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, people talk. But if you're serious about doing it, it's the basics. It's the basics.
I'm analyzing this right now as you speak, and it makes me think about when you go to the fucking gym for the first time. It's a fucking hassle, man. It's hard to get used to. It's a skill you gotta build, right? It involves a few things when you start because it's something new, and it's fucking. There's some fear to that, man. It's starting. You know what I mean? You know
Yeah,
it. I mean, you talk about it before. So okay, you're saying back to the basics. If fucking anything, that's the best way to start. Then you
right.
avoid that. You avoid that, man. You avoid the crowd. You avoid the anxiety that it gives you to coming into a new place and trying to learn these fucking moves with the weight, because that's technique to that shit. And it is technique to doing push-ups also, but it's more so natural to do that shit, than than to getting on the fucking bar, and you gotta make sure you do it the right fucking angle because you fuck yourself up real bad and you really won't be fucking going to the gym. So
Right.
if anything, the basics come in the best to start off this journey. To start off
Oh,
this journey, man, you at home you do some fucking squats. Depends on your level of fitness too, because it's hard to do a push-up. It might be a knee push-up. It might be have to be a knee push-up at the beginning. It might just
exactly.
have to be 10 or 20 at the beginning. But that's really the basics I will recommend now. And we're speaking about this right now. And it makes me think about that's the best way to start
Yeah.
off this journey. Simple.
Well, yeah, and to that point, I did a video yesterday. I decided I was going to make some quick videos with just like 20ish minute workouts for beginners, and just body weight stuff. Actually, incorporating some of the resistance bands, but just basic stuff. Nothing really crazy. So the workout I did yesterday was 50 burpees with 50 bicep curls with a rubber band, 50 bench dips, and 50 body weight squats. Just all basic stuff, right? And I explained in the video how normally you'll see people doing the 6 count burpee, or they'll call it a one pump burpee, right? You go down, you do one push up, and then you come up, and that's a 6 count or a one pump burpee.
You got fucking count though.
Yeah. You got to make sure you count them right. Well, but my point was that I'm doing this for the sake of beginners. If you've never worked out before, if you're overweight and you want to start working out, so I decided I'm going to incorporate, rather than 6 count burpees, we'll start with 4 count burpees and don't include the push up. So you basically go down into a plank
mm,
and then come back up,
hmm.
right?
That's a good idea.
And again, I preface the whole workout with, this is specifically for people, you know, because like you just said, if you can't do a push up. So if I'm talking to a beginner who's overweight, never worked out, or hasn't worked out in years, might be a little older, like closer to my age, why am I going to suggest an exercise with a move in there that most people in that condition can't do, right? But there was one guy that popped into the chat and said something like, "I do West Coast burpees. Why don't you at least include the push up or something?" And I'm thinking, like, great, you do West Coast burpees. That's good for you. But I'm talking to beginners, right? Why am I going to go on and start doing, say, for instance, a bunch of Navy SEALs? Hey guys, if you haven't worked out or you're still overweight, let's do some Navy SEALs. what sense is that? Who is that helping? It's not helping anybody, you know. So yeah, everybody, again, it goes back to everybody has their opinion. I don't know who this guy was, but his thing was I do West Coast burpees. I'm not even sure what they are, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there's a couple of different moves involved in it. But you know, he pops in and his first inclination is, oh, you're doing simple burpees. You got to do West Coast burpees. Maybe somebody will see me doing 4 count burpees and take to it and start doing it and work their way up to your West Coast burpees. And then they could go watch your channel and you could teach them how to do, even more than that. Right. But, again, it goes back to everybody, because I'm doing it, it's the best. And it's not. It's not. You just have to suggest to people what would be appropriate to them. You know what I mean? Like your point. If you can't do a push-up, maybe you do knee push-ups. Maybe you do push-ups against the wall. But you can do something, right? There's always a modification. There's always a way around it.
Yeah, man. I feel for the people, man, because it's tough, man. It's tough. I know a lot of people want to change. I know a lot of people know what the fuck time what time it is. They know that it's time to fucking get fit. They know it, man. But a lot of times it's that limitation. Is that they go search and they go see this fucking, they see fucking crusades of motivation doing 1,000 fucking burpees. They're like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that. But you don't have to. It really, man, that's just some shit because hey, but you will one day. That's what I say too. You will one day, man, because that's what happened to me, man. As the time goes, fucking you want to reach a different level, man. That's just far over inner self. That's the shit in humans, man. And when you don't move, though, that shit is not in you. That flame is not in you. When you don't move and you don't do nothing, that shit is not in you. So that's some shit that you gotta awaken. And I feel for the people, man, because it's tough to start. And I say it again, man, but once you start, it's just like a fucking engine, man. Just
Yeah.
and then there it goes, man. There it goes, and it only wants to fucking keep running.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell the people, man. You gotta start this shit, man. It's the best thing you can do. It's the root for your tree, man. And
Yeah.
for your tree of life. I mean, look at old dog, man. Fit over 60. I mean, come on, man. You're the big fucking example, man. I mean, I see you, old dog, and I always think about that shit. I'm like, man, I want to be like that when I'm older, man. I want to be strong. I want to be able to fucking get into what my son is still win sometimes. Or
Yeah.
at least give him my battle. Give him a fucking battle and be like, yeah, I'll give him a fucking battle, man. I got him sweating, and I'm old. So that's it. That's what I tell the people, man, because sometimes we don't think about that, man. It's investing in our future. That's really
Yeah.
what it is, man.
Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate that what you said, but I'm believe me, I'm no smarter. I'm no more talented. I don't have better genes than anybody else. It just comes down to doing it consistently. That's it. That's the secret sauce in life with anything, right? Like with your tattooing. You wanted to learn and you just did it and did it and did it. And now you're a great tattoo artist.
I'm all right. I'm still doing it.
Okay, but the thing is, well, I mean, I've seen your work and it's amazing work. But my point is, now somebody who's starting out and is frustrated and is trying to learn to be a tattoo artist, they might look at you and say, "Nah, but fucking Aldo, nah, he's just naturally talented." They don't see the years of work that you put in, right? With your tattoo. You told me you said you got tattoos all over yourself, right? You tattooed
Mhm.
yourself to practice, right? And you for years and you had other people teach you, you watched other people, but it took years of work for you to do it, and I'm not doing anything that anybody watching us can't do. And that's another big part of my message. It's like, I'm not fucking special. I'm not. All it takes is doing it consistently, and you don't have to do crazy shit. You got to get up every day and do some burpees. You got to watch what you eat, and over time it's going to pay off, and I have had people say to me, and again, I take it as a half-ass compliment or a backhanded compliment. I get accused all the time of being on steroids or testosterone TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. You know what I mean? And it's an ignorant, like, if your first inclination is to look at somebody who you think is, maybe looks good or looks like they're in shape, and your first inclination is he's on drugs. Well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I mean? And that just goes to show your mentality. It goes to show where you're at. You know what I mean? Because you don't know anything about the work that it takes, or the self-discipline it takes to be that consistent, to be good at anything, right? Because if your first inclination is, if somebody does well in school, oh, he must have fucking cheated on that test. If somebody has more money than you, oh, he must be a fucking thief. If somebody looks like they're in better shape than you, he must be taking drugs. That's a surefire fucking sign of somebody that doesn't appreciate and has no real idea of what it takes to work towards something. You know what I mean? So let me just check the chat here. We've been going for a little bit. Borchell. I don't know if Borchell is still here. No gimmicks will do miracles. You're right. Or any no, they don't. No gimmicks, Borchell. It's got to be the real work. And you're right. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone does have one.
Hey man, but you're free to your opinion, so that's all good.
Geronimo, thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you popping in. Tina, unfortunately, I don't think they do burpees in most high schools anymore. A lot of schools did away with any type of physical education classes, any type of gym classes. Some might have it, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find any school in the United States today where they actually have kids doing burpees.
They need to though.
Their parents would be up in arms hiring a lawyer to sue the school system.
They fucking need to, man. I fucking make my son do burpees for some gaming time. He gotta earn his gaming time. Every burpee is a minute, man. That's a new regimen we have.
There you go.
Every burpee is a minute of gaming.
Tina, I need to get fit. Well, Tina, you start with the basics. Real food and basic exercise. Gio's in the house as usual. Thank you, brother. Always appreciate you. Frankie F16 says it's a journey, and it's a journey of patience with fitness. Exactly. It's a journey of patience with anything in life. Like I said, even with you, Aldo, with your tattooing, or anything that you want to get good at.
But Vinny, you said something important here, man. You are nothing special. Neither am I, man. I'm fucking not special at all, man. I'm a regular ass motherfucker, man. I just understood that to get good at something, I gotta fucking just do it. I gotta do it and do it and do it and do it some more. I'm still doing it till the day, man, and I just want to get better, man. I'll write that shit every day for a few times on a notebook, man. I want to be one of the best. And how do I be one of the best? I gotta fucking practice. That's it.
Yeah. And you realize that, right? And you've let me ask you a question. Okay, I know you're modest and you don't want to say how talented you really are, but compare your work today and even your 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 level of confidence today doing what you do. Your level of confidence in your work today as opposed to 5 years ago.
Oh shit, man. It's big difference.
Okay.
It's a big
Now,
difference, definitely.
what can we attribute that to? Because
Practice, that's it.
because you wanted to get better. You wanted that. That was
Mm-hmm.
something that you wanted because it was a priority. Because you always said, I wanted to be an artist, and you wanted to be a tattoo artist, and you wanted to be a good artist. And you practiced and practiced. And it's the same thing. And that's the way you make your living today.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew how important it was. So if we take that same mentality, that same thought process, and put it into fitness, and when we talk about fitness and health, we're talking about your life. We're not talking about your job, you know.
More important.
But even if you practice for all these years, right, and you were still only able to draw a fucking stick man on somebody's arm, right, and you still couldn't do it, right, but you were healthy as a fucking ox because you took care of your health all these years, right? Even though you couldn't make that living as a tattoo artist, you're still healthy enough to go find a job and do something to feed yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, I mean, you're doing it right because you are taking care of your health, and then you're gonna live a nice long life and be a great tattoo artist, and you're only gonna get better and better as time goes on. But to bring this back to the start of tonight, where I said I don't understand how people, complicate things, and the other part of the puzzle that I don't understand is why people still refuse to make fitness, health and fitness, their own personal health and fitness, the number one priority in their life. Because
Man,
because if you lose that, you lose everything in life.
man, that's the $1 million fucking question, man. But it's the culture. That's $1 million question with a simple fucking answer. It's the culture.
Right.
We're not about that, man. Nobody tell us that shit unless it's all dog and Crusader motivation. I mean, I mean, nobody fucking tell us that, man. But that's something that needs to be said, man, over and over again. It's that big saying that I heard a while ago, man. A healthy man has 1,000 wishes, man. He's got so many, and a sick man only has one, man. Only fucking one. How fucking
Right.
powerful that is, man. When you're healthy, I mean, look at me, man. I want to be a great fucking artist. I'm practicing every day. I want to be great at fitness. I'm practicing every day.
Right.
I have a lot of fucking wishes, man. But I get to do that. It's a privilege because I'm trying to take care of my health.
Right. Right. And
Simple
the
as
other,
that.
yeah, and the other thing, the other thing to think of is, I've said this before too. If you're somebody going through life and you don't have a significant other, you don't have kids, you don't have anybody in your life that's dependent on you, and you want to just live your life however you want and not make your health a priority, well, that's your prerogative.
Hmm.
But in your case, in my case, I brought two kids into the world. You have your son Roman. That's that changes the whole fucking dynamic here. Now it's not all about you. You have other people dependent on you. So if you don't want to do it for yourself, you got to do it for them, because these people are relying on you, right? And it's bad enough if you don't prioritize your own health in order to help take care of them. But then when you're so fucked up that now these people have to take care of you because
Mm.
you destroyed your health. Now, how selfish is that? That because you wanted to live, no, I like to do this and I like to do that, and you fucked up your health out of ignorance, out of whatever, selfishness, or just um, laziness, whatever caused you to do it. So now you can't take care of yourself, and these people these family members or whatever, or you're relying on friends, you're imposing on other people now to take care of you. That's different if you're doing the right thing by your health, and God forbid, one of us has some type of accident where you have to be dependent on other people. That's a different story. But for you to willfully do that, to knowingly do that, and say, nah, if you want to smoke and drink and live an unhealthy lifestyle, but you have people that are dependent on you, and at some point now you're laying there shitting yourself, and these people have to change your diapers and do all this other stuff. That's just fucking selfish, you know. So I don't know how we got onto that, but I think we're going to leave it there. The bottom line is, you know, we got to do something. No more analysis paralysis. Things are getting too out of control. Everybody's overweight. Everybody's sick. It's not complicated. The answer is to do the basics, do them frequently, do them consistently. Learn as you go along. The information is out there, and you know, just do your best. Tina, I hope you do better with your health. Again, it's sticking to the basics, Tina. That's really all it is. Gio, we are a backwards culture at this point. We really are. We're rewarding mediocrity and laziness. And just like Aldo always says, it's the culture. And you know, if the entire culture doesn't start changing for the better, I don't know where we're going to wind up. But it's not looking good. But you got to stay hopeful. You know that things are going to change.
That's
All
right.
right, Theo. Always appreciate you, brother. Tina, stay well. I appreciate you popping in. Appreciate your comments tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you again. Frankie F16. Geronimo Borchell. I'm sorry, brother, if I'm butchering your name, but I appreciate you being here. Aldo, my friend, you know, and guys, make sure you check out my friend Aldo, Crusades of Motivation on YouTube, and he's on Instagram. You can check out some of his excellent tattoo work. A De La Cruz, right? A underscore De La Cruz.
Yeah, so A underscore DE underscore LA Cruz. A De La Cruz underscore in between, man. That's the business, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Yeah, check out
Thank
his
you.
work. You'll be amazed at that. Everybody, I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you get your reps in. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe, do some exercise, eat some real food. Aldo and I are going to talk to you in the next one. Night, guys. Thanks.
Man, good night.